Hi, I'm Clara. Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee with Clara Rose. And this week, I'm super excited to have brought a guest that is really important to all of us who are entrepreneurs and small business owners. Because as you know, as an entrepreneur or small business owner, you don't have an employer that helps you plan for your retirement. There's no 401k or profit sharing, some of those things. We are left to do it and figure it out on our own. So I thought a great place to start for us to think about the future in that way is to bring a professional to come and talk to us. So I want to introduce you to my new friend. We spoke together last month at a conference. Her name is Gierda Senat, and she is a financial advisor. And Gierda loves to help people to get control of their finances, plan for their future, and discover their FIN. Now, you may not know what that is. I didn't know what it was either, but she is here to talk to us today. So help me welcome Gierda to the show. Are you there, Gierda?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. And thank you very much for allowing me to be on your show. I'm very grateful for it, that I can help people, that you give me the chance to do so.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show. So first of all, most of us have a vague idea of what a financial planner or financial advisor does. So tell us really, what do you do for people?
Well, actually, the basic thing that we do for people is that we help you plan your finances, help you build your finances, because when you're building a house, I can say when you're building a house, you don't start from the roof coming down, you start from the foundation. So we help people with planning on how their foundation of their house will be. Make sure that your family is secure just in case something was to happen to you prematurely. So we make sure that your finances is in place for that. Just like we insure everything in our house, we want to make sure that you insure yourself as well. Not just the television, not just the house, but yourself has to be secure as well. That's what we do for families.
Okay, so you're talking about life insurance?
Yeah, basically, it starts with life insurance, because a lot of us don't think that life insurance is important until something happens.
And then it's too late.
Yeah, it is too late. So especially for the young people, they think, okay, I have to get my house, I have to get my car, I have to do all that. But guess what? You insure all those things. Why not insure yourself? Because the person that's paying for all that stuff is not insured.
That's an interesting look at it, isn't it, right? We buy a house and we put insurance on it. We buy a car,
absolutely,
we put insurance on it, but we don't bother to insure our life.
And why do we insure all these things? Why do we insure all these things? Just in case something was to happen.
Right.
So why do we think, exactly, why do we think our lives is not that important to insure? But basically, you're not really insuring yourself. You're insuring your income, just in case something was to happen to your family. You don't want your family to be, crying, saying, "Oh, I'm crying because I lost my loved one, and I'm also crying because I don't know what I'm going to do." I can't tell the mortgage company that, my loved one passed away. I can't tell the light bill. I can't tell the kids. I can't feed them. But if I was to pass away today, my loved one will cry and grieve me and miss me, but they're not going to worry about how I'm going to pay a bill, how I'm going to feed the kids, how I'm going to pay the mortgage. And a lot of us don't think about that.
Yeah. Well, unless you've had someone talk with you about that.
Exactly.
Right. And then, so when you're talking about your FIN, does that have anything to do with the life insurance, or is that more of a retirement thing?
Yes, the FIN has a lot to do with it, and FIN stands for Financial Independent Number.
Oh, okay. So it's independence.
Yes, it's financial independent number. It has a lot to do with it, because what your financial independent number tells you is how much money you need to save when you retire. That's including your mortgage, how much money you have saved, how much money for the kids, everything, college plan. And that starts off with, I'm going to say another word, with your F&A. So once you get your F&A in place, your financial needs analysis, that's how you get your FIN number. Your financial need analysis breaks down everything that you're doing today. Okay? That's every single thing. Your whole life is put down on a chart. And it calculates whatever you're doing right now. And you have to update it every 5 years because things change. And it will tell you how much money you need to save. Because there's a saying that, save money today and money will save you tomorrow.
Ah, that's clever. I'm sure people have heard that before. I've not heard that before, but I'm sure other people have. That's pretty clever. So save now so that money can save you later. So
exactly.
When you're talking about a financial needs analysis, is that like the starting point? Or when you sit down with somebody to talk finances, or do you want to start with, do you have life insurance? Almost seems like the needs would come first.
Absolutely. You sit down with someone and you actually talk. We have a conversation about yourself, your finances, because the F&A comes first. Because your F&A will tell you how much money you need to save and how much life insurance you need. I can't just come and tell you, oh, you need so much of life insurance without doing an F&A for you. Because it's telling you now how much life insurance you need for you and your family, because it's breakdowns on how many people you have in your household, how much money you're spending. And if something was to happen to you prematurely, this is how much money you need to save today, how much life insurance you need to save today, and how much money you need to start saving just in case something was to happen prematurely. Or if you live too long, the savings if you live too long, the life insurance if you die too soon.
Okay, that makes sense. So you start with a needs analysis to find out what your needs are. So that name makes sense, right?
Yes.
And then depending on what it's going to cost you or your loved ones to live, should something happen to you, that's where you determine how much life insurance you should have.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, you're going to tell them how much money they should have in savings for retirement and then beyond.
Exactly. And of course, not everyone that you sit down with can afford the amount that they have, that they need, but they could start building to that. Because a lot of people don't have $1,000, to save every month.
Right.
But you can start off a little as $25. And as you keep on going up and up, you can start saving. I always tell people, when you're working a job, instead of when you get that raise, instead of adding to the money that you get that raise, adding to another bill, why don't you take that money that you got that raise and put it into your retirement? Or put into a savings account or something, not a savings account, but invest it somewhere.
Right.
Because the bank doesn't give you much for savings. So.
No, they don't. Now, do you talk with people about investing or where to put their money, things like that?
Yes, we do. Because every person, there's actually a questionnaire that will tell you where you need to put your money. Okay? Because if you know that your Walmart is never going to go out of business. Let's put it this way, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You always have a variety of places that you want to put your money, just to make sure that if something is not working for you, then you always know that other dollar is getting more. You understand what I mean? The $1 is going to Walmart, $1 is going to Publix. Say, for example, Publix goes down. Walmart is still working for you. So you never put all your eggs in one basket. And not only that, you have to, every year, you have to go and revise with your clients to see, because some people, they have more to save. They have something else that happened. They might get, a lawsuit. They might have gotten, not just a lawsuit, they might have got some savings they've had aside, some money just came in. You don't want them to go and blow that money. So you always keep in contact with them to make sure that they're doing the right thing.
So you have like you build an ongoing relationship with people, right? So
Yeah.
you're checking in every year to say, hey, what has changed? Right? So if something has changed, then you can make adjustments for it because
Absolutely.
things change, right?
Every day,
Yeah,
every day.
it's the only guaranteed constant is that things are going to change.
Absolutely.
So and this may be a no-brainer to most people, but as I'm thinking about this conversation, we're thinking when you're young, you need more life insurance, right? Because you have little people, potentially you have children at home, and so the living expenses are probably greater, right? So if your income goes away, you're going to need to replace that income at a higher level, right? Does that make sense?
Right. Actually, it's better to get life insurance when you're younger.
Right.
Yes,
You
it's
have
better
a
because
greater
it's
need.
cheaper.
Oh.
It's cheaper. It's
True.
actually cheaper. It's cheaper
Sure.
to have life insurance younger because you have that life insurance for a long period of time. The older you get, the more expensive it gets. Not only that, as we get older, we have things that started happening. The little high blood pressure, diabetes, little stuff. You go to the doctor today where you went today, you woke up, you was fine. You have a little headache. You go back to the doctor and doctor say, oh my God, you have hypertension, if you have diabetes, or it could be worse. So you don't want to wait too long that you're not insurable anymore.
Ah,
So the younger you are,
get it when you're young and healthy.
it's better, yes. Yes.
And then you have little people at home, right? Or you probably have children at home. So if something does happen to you, then those are extra expenses, right? Because, especially if a woman who was the caregiver is no longer there, now the husband has to pay for a caregiver, right? So that makes sense that you need that when you're young. Unfortunately, that's usually when you have less money, right?
Exactly, because that income that was coming in no longer comes in anymore.
Right.
But then again, every single one of us that's walking on the planet of this earth needs life insurance. Whether you have kids or not, you need life insurance because if something was to happen to you, if your parents are still alive, you're not going to leave that burden that they have to look for the $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to bury you. You want to make sure that you have something in place, whether you have children or not. Because every single one of us needs life insurance. If a 16-year-old or 17-year-old, 18-year-old have a car, they have to insure it, right?
True.
Even if it's the parents that's insuring it, it has to be insured. So we have to always make sure that every single one of us are insured, whether you have kids or you do not have kids.
Now, what about later in life? I mean, we're mainly talking to entrepreneurs and, people who don't have retirement coming from somewhere else. But life insurance isn't just for the entrepreneur. Life insurance is for everybody. But what about when you get older? Say you're in your 60s or in your 70s. Do you still need to carry life insurance?
Well, it depends. It all depends on that person. If you've been paying a life insurance policy since you were young until you're about 70, 80 years old, me personally, I would not cancel it. I will keep it going because then you have grandchildren. You want to leave something for your grandchildren. But if at that age you never had anything, right, you need to have a plan in place where investment comes in it. Okay, you need to sit down with somebody to see, hey, I've never done anything for myself. What can you do to help me so I can start saving something? Because right now, the government is not going to give you much. That's why you see most people when they eat at the age of 50, 60, 65, they're working at Walmart. They're walking because they didn't plan prior. They didn't have a roadmap for themselves. And that's why they say some people fail to plan. People don't plan to fail, but they fail to plan.
Yep. Heard that one a lot for sure. And that it's not just about finances. That's like every aspect of your life for sure. But definitely in finances, you're going to feel it, that impact of that more.
Absolutely.
So who's your ideal client? What is the perfect, not that I mean, you've already said everyone needs life insurance, right? So anybody, you can help anybody. But who's your perfect client? If I could say, oh, here's a little cookie cutter, and I'm going to go find Gierda some clients, who would that be?
Well, my ideal clients is husband, wife, and children. As I can say, we help everyone, but people that need us the most are people that have families depending on them. You have a husband, you have a wife, and you have children that's dependent on your income.
Okay, so you focus mainly on helping clients who get their life insurance and get started in the younger phase of life.
Yes.
Okay, so what about someone like me who's my children are coming up on 40, which is hard to believe. My 38, 39, and 40 this year, as a matter of fact. Grandbabies are half grown. You know, we don't have huge high debt, but we have worked for ourselves forever, like years and years and years. So would I be a good client for you?
Yes, of course. You will still be a good client because what happens is now you and your husband are together. Well, you're living life, right?
Yeah.
You're having fun. You're living life. But, you know, you guys are always together. What if something was to happen, right? Something was to happen. Say yesterday. I never talk about the present. What if something was to happen? Because you're always together. You're driving together and something happens and both of you are gone. What did you leave for? And I know you have a business. You have income coming in. What did you leave for the family to make sure that they can do whatever they need to do? Your funeral arrangements, making sure that everything that you have to put in place. And most people don't have wills. That's something that we have to think about. A lot of people don't have a will.
That's true.
We're just living life and we don't think about anything. Like life is going to be forever. Everyone on this earth has a time that we're going to expire. Our time expires one day. Some is longer, but our time will expire.
So do you help people with that piece as well, with the wills?
Yes, we do help people with the wills as well.
Okay. So for someone in my age bracket, in my situation, it would be a financial needs. Will we still do a financial needs analysis? Okay.
Absolutely. We'll still do a financial needs analysis. Why? Because on your financial needs analysis, it will also tell us how much money you have saved.
Okay. So it's not anymore about, it's not about, if something happened to me that my husband doesn't need my income. If something happens to him, I don't need his income, right? It's not about that for us anymore.
No, it's not about that for you because you have a business and you already established money. Okay. You understand? So you're in a different bracket.
Okay.
So now we're helping you take that money to see where do you have it.
Okay.
Because you might have it somewhere that you're not earning anything on there.
Okay.
When you actually retire, you want to retire and you are living on your interest, not on the main money that you have there. You're living on your interest. That's what you need.
Okay. Okay, I get it. So then you would just look at what we've put away, what we continue to put away, and then, so do you talk about mutual funds, or is that the kind of thing that you're putting money into?
It's a whole list of everything. Some people do mutual funds, some people don't like it. So it's individual basis, because some people already come to you and they like, oh, I don't want to lose any money. So you got to put them in a different bracket. You know, so it's all about when the person comes in, you sit down, you analyze, you have a conversation, and you'll know what you need for that client, what you would recommend for that client to do.
Because some people are obviously more risk adverse, right? Right.
You can say that again, yes.
Right. Risk adverse.
Yes, you can say that again, yes.
I'm not necessarily one of those people, but I have known people who are like, oh, I can't step out and take a risk. Or we do in real estate investing, so we're and then we've been in business for ourselves forever, so we understand risk, and it's just a part of being an entrepreneur, I think. But I have known people who almost wouldn't cross the street, if there was a risk to it. I'm like, okay, but well, it sounds like you could help anybody, but somebody who's in a position who's younger, has a family at home, those would be great people to sit down and do a risk analysis with and talk about how to set themselves up for success for the long haul in their
Absolutely.
finances.
Absolutely.
Now, you're obviously not sitting in the studio with me, so I know you're not in the Tampa area, but where are you located? And does that matter?
No, it doesn't matter where I'm located because we have the Zoom, just like I'm with you right now on the Zoom. Wherever I am, anybody can call me. I'm based in Orlando. I have offices in Orlando. I have an office in West Palm Beach. I have an office in Boston as well. My husband and I, should I say, I didn't say my husband. My husband and I, we have an office here in Orlando. We have an office in West Palm Beach, and we have an office in Miami area, and we also have an office in Boston.
Okay, but
so wherever
people don't have to come to you, though.
No, right? You don't have to come to me. We can talk on Zoom, and we can plan everything on Zoom because now Zoom. You could give them the mouse, they can sign, they can do whatever it is.
That's true. It's a crazy new world that we live in.
Absolutely,
we can just do everything online, which is wonderful. Okay, so if somebody. We don't have a whole lot of time left, but I just want to make sure I get this part out. If somebody was interested in learning more about working with you, what's the best thing that they can do to reach out to you?
They can also always call me. They can call me at 786-859-6410.
Okay. And that is up on the screen so people can look at that as well. Then, of course, if you missed that, you can't find it and you need to, anybody out there can reach out to me, hello@clararose.com. I'm happy to share her information with you. Of course, you'll be able to watch this replay in the Facebook group if you'd like and capture it off the screen there. But I'd love to connect you with Gierda if you're interested in taking that step. Okay, so before we run out of time, I love to ask this question. What is the best advice, in under 5 minutes, best advice that you could give my viewers about their finances?
The best advice I can give you is to take some time, sit down with your loved ones, sit down with your family, and see what you have on hand and what you need on hand. Because a lot of times we don't do that. Because like I said before, we keep on going and going. But take some time for yourself. You and your husband, even if you don't have a spouse, yourself, if you're single, sit down, take a notepad, take a pen, and write down everything that you have on hand today and what you want. So you're doing a roadmap for yourself and what you're missing. That's the best advice I could give someone today. And of course, I can help you in any matter it is. You write it down, what you want, where you want to be, and look at the last 5 years of your life. Okay. Are you in that same position doing the same thing and nothing has changed in your finances? If that answer is yes, then I can help you as well with that.
Okay. So it's really just about planning well, right?
Your roadmap
to follow. And you know what I love about that is I actually preach that to my clients all the time, right? That's the entire reason that I created the brainstorm and blueprint for creating a book, right? Is because people would sit down to write a book and just sit at a blank screen and start typing, right? And who knows where sometimes chapters later, like they've typed in circles and they said the same thing repeatedly. And, because they didn't have a roadmap to follow, right? They didn't have a plan. And that's the exact same thing that you're talking about. Have a plan. Where am I now? Right? And that's the financial needs analysis, right? Where am I now? Where would I like to be? Right?
Absolutely.
Right? And how do I get there in a way that makes sense? And where
exactly
I'm working on the book pieces, of course, because it needs to make sense. But you're talking about, finances. How much money do we need to make these things happen? And it's a brave new world out there. More and more people are putting on the entrepreneur hat, right? Or saying, I'm going to take control. I'm not going to work a 9 to 5, right? You see side hustles all over the internet. Do this side hustle until you've made enough money, you can do it full time. That's because people want more for their lives, right? They want financial independence. And what a better way to get it than to work with a professional to help you map out how to make that happen. Because I'm not the professional at that, right? You're the professional at that. That's why you hire a professional to help you do the things that you don't know how to do, to make a roadmap when you have no clue what you're doing, right?
Yes, that's absolutely, because when we're driving, I can't just get in my car and say I'm driving from Atlanta to New York without having Google Maps. So why don't we have a map on our lives, a map on our finances, the next step that tells us from A to B to C, what are we going to be doing next? You know, a lot of us don't think of it that way, but that's the right way to think of your life, your success, your family, and where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yep. I totally agree with you. I think I could probably make it to New York from here without my GPS, but it would be the long way around. right? You might still,
yes, exactly.
You might still make it, but you might not make it there as quickly or as cost effectively because you took a lot of wrong turns along the way, right? That's a great analogy.
Exactly. You got lost.
You got lost.
You got to stop and ask a person a question. Hey, where I'm at, where should I go? Should I do left, right, east, west, south? You know, so with a roadmap, it tells you exactly where you need to go, where you need to turn, when you need to stop. Everything is there for you.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, we are out of time, but Gierda, thank you so much for taking time out of what I know is a very busy schedule to join us. And I will have you on the show again someday down the road. But for now, we're out of time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty.
I appreciate it.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. See you next week.